The Jets always find themselves in the news at 9:45 a.m. We were lamenting another pathetic loss to send them to 2-4. Here at 10:15 on 10:15, October 15th. Now, Davante Adams is a New York Jet. Now, this team's still stinking. They're still bad. But the move we've been waiting for has finally happened, and the Jets have themselves a Pro Bowl wide receiver. We'll react to the trade, what they gave up, and the Jets' loss. Missed field goal, sloppy play, new coach, same result. It's all coming up next on an emergency episode of the Jets Flight Club podcast.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Jets Fight Club. The sickest New York Jets podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome back to the Sick Podcast, Jets Flight Club. I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Radio, at Sick Pod Jets. We are live on YouTube. Make sure you smash that thumbs up, comment. We'll be reading your comments on the show, and share with all your Jets fan friends. Minutes after Robert Saleh was fired, we were live. Minutes after Davante Adams is a Jet, we are live. What timing? I said it's 10 a.m. and then I said, hey, guys, can we push back to 10:15? At 10:08, it's announced by everyone at this point, Schefter, everyone, that the Raiders and Jets have agreed or expected to agree today that it'll get finalized, a deal for Davante Adams. It will be a conditional third-round pick that becomes a second-round pick based on performance. And what timing for the Jets to make the deal after last night's absolute crap show that they displayed on that dump of a stadium, dump of a product, 2-4, 23-20 loss to the Bills, 2 missed field goals, self-inflicted wounds left and right, 11 penalties for 110 yards, a game that finished with 206 yards in penalties. Unbelievable. 204, if you want to be exact. Both teams, flags left and right, a terrible product. We'll get there. But first, the immediate news, Davante Adams. Obviously, everyone's going to say GM Aaron Rodgers, and of course, Aaron Rodgers probably said after the loss last night, I'm sure he had a nice call with Woody and said, let's get this done right now. And it looks like it's done. And a big factor in getting this done for the Raiders, who a third-round pick that could be a second is kind of what you expected. So the compensation isn't crazy. There's 11 games left. It's really now or never. And you felt this was inevitable after what happened yesterday. I mean, Mike Williams, the Taylor ham sandwich that helped get Mike Williams has outplayed Mike Williams. And I had my first Taylor ham a couple weeks ago. It was delicious. And I can confirm I might go get one right now after this, actually. Mike Williams, the ball was underthrown, but he just slips. And that field, I get it. It sucks. The turf is terrible. But come on. It hasn't helped that Mike Williams has done almost nothing for this team. I mean, dropped the ball earlier. If he doesn't slip there, that's an easy catch, first down. The Jets are in the red zone with at least another chance at a field goal. Who knows if Greg Zuerlein's going to make it. What a bad year he's having. But the kicker to this deal is the Raiders are not paying any of Davante Adams' remaining salary. The Jets are paying all of it. And I'm sure they said, okay, fine with us. 11 games left. He sat out with a hamstring injury. Now, if Davante Adams plays Sunday night against the Steelers, the hamstring injury was BS, and he was just sitting out because he didn't want to play for the Raiders anymore. Unless his hamstring magically recovers now, and maybe it does, but I'm leaning towards he was fine to play for the right team. He didn't want to play for the Raiders. Now, his salary this year is not terrible. $11.26 million. So the Jets will get the remainder. He has a potential out after this year. which is big because the next 2 years he would get $35.6 million each year. So that's big. But this team needs a receiver. They needed help so badly. Badly. And they get it. Now, is Davante Adams the same player? No, he's not the same player as he was in the Aaron Rodgers era. But now you have an offense with Davante Adams on one side, Garrett Wilson on the other. And now Allen Lazard becomes the true third wide receiver, and he's stepped up. Obviously, played great with Rodgers. The Hail Mary to end the half was the highlight of the game. The Jets still, I mean, they had that Hail Mary. I'm like, they're going to win this thing. And they still found a way to lose. This is a team that has lost 3 one-possession games. They're undoubtedly a bad team. But if one play goes the other way, the Jets are 5-1. But unfortunately, close is only good in horseshoes, and there's no moral victories in the NFL. And the Jets have 0 moral victories. They're 2-4. And the clock is ticking. You are now setting yourself in a position where you have to go 8-3 the rest of the way to reach 10 wins, which is what you would expect to get to the playoffs. At the very worst, 7-4 to get to 9-8. But you're probably going to have to go 10-7, which means the Jets have to go 8-3 the rest of the way. And how do I have any confidence that they're going to beat the Steelers this week? I know. Sunday Night Football, another primetime game. The whole world forced to watch these Jets. You can't make it up. This is a move they had to do. The Jets needed help. And with the way that Mike Williams has played, they needed help. And Davante Adams was already in New Jersey because he's already in the Jets building, per sources, according to Diana Runacini. He's there. I wonder how that happened. I mean, it felt like this deal was going to get done. They played their first game under Rob Ulbrich and with Todd Downing as offensive play caller. They undoubtedly looked a little bit better offensively. Downing as the play caller was the right move. You know, in a close game against a division rival like this, you can't miss 2 field goals. That's a big part, and then the penalties. I mean, another chance in the red zone, and Braylon Allen, after Allen Lazard and Josh Allen almost had the triple Allen parlay going for touchdowns, a holding on Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith played bad. Tyron Smith has not been good as a Jet. Mike Williams has not been good as a Jet. Some of these Jets that they've got have not been good for this team. And those are the big money ones. Mike Williams, 1 year, whatever, $14 million was. Davante, they need him now. Like, if he's in the building, and I hope he plays this week. Because, listen, on paper, and that's what we've gone with the Jets, is on paper, they're a good football team. On paper now, they're a better football team. They have 2 potential future Hall of Famers getting the ball from a Hall of Famer. I mean, Garrett Wilson's early calling that, but you have 2 all-pro wide receivers, a Hall of Fame quarterback, an all-pro running back. There's no excuses. Lazard and Mike Williams are now your 3-4. They're now where probably they should be. Mike Williams is now your 4. He's playing like a 4. Allen Lazard is probably playing like a 3. Now you have studs on both sides. No excuses anymore. They fired Saleh. That was the right call. You could say it was too early, but he probably should have been fired before the season. They changed play callers. I think that was a smart move. But, the excuses are up. You got your receiver. It's going to be fun to watch. But let me say this, Jet fans. Don't let this get your hopes up because they'll bring them down again. This team has been indescribably pathetic so far. An almost unwatchable product in a stadium that is a complete and utter dump Every time you leave that stadium feeling like utter crap, you had the one teaser, an absolute tease versus the Patriots, the home opener. But that was more the Patriots suck. Versus Denver, you lose by 1. In London, you lose by 6. Home versus the Bills, you lose by 3. The Denver game and this game are what are going to eat you alive if the Jets miss the playoffs. Well, you're going to have nightmares over. If they miss the playoffs by 1 game, it's this one in Denver. Missed field goals, sloppy play, pathetic football. It's these 2 games. The Minnesota game, they were down 17-0. They had a shot in that game, but I'm not going to look at that one as much. But this one and Denver, you can't lose. Really, Denver is just pathetic because it's Denver. But this one, man, this should be at the very worst a 4-2 football team. And instead, you flip it around. They're freaking 2-4. Fucking Beavers in the chat. Alan Lazard touchdown machine now. Lazard's been great, but he's essentially stepped up your number 2. And for Rodgers, maybe he's number 2. But for any other NFL team, Alan Lazard's a slot receiver. He's a number 3. And now he can go in the slot. And on the outside, you have 2 elite players. This undoubtedly makes this offense a whole lot better. But how am I supposed to get my hopes up when this team continues with the penalties, the holds, the false starts, the delay of games, the pass interferences, DJ Reed? I mean, come on, man. They can't be this bad. It's pathetic. Last Tuesday at 10:08 a.m., the news breaks of Robert Saleh firing. Today at 10:05 a.m., the news breaks of Davante Adams trade. The Jets owner is doubling down on his all-in approach. Rodgers gets his reunion, at least for 11 games. Maybe he gets it next season as well. But it's hard to get excited. It's really hard to get excited. Tylen's chief says, have people not learned anything? Getting excited before anything happens always ends badly. Everyone's on YouTube live stream just because the Jets are trading for Davante Adams. Calm down. Well, I was coming on here to react to the game originally. I called it emergency, but I didn't do a post-game pod last night because they didn't deserve our effort last night. I am telling you to not get too excited because they've let us down. But let's be realistic. This helps the Jets. This offense is better now than it was last night, period. If Davante Adams plays and is healthy, they're better. But, of course, there's hey, can he stop committing dumb penalties? Can Mike Williams catch a ball? Can Malachi Corley play? The poor guy is inactive, a healthy scratch every week. He's retweeting about his own healthy scratch. It's sad that they couldn't get this guy involved. Xavier Gibson barely getting involved. I mean, we finally saw one of my favorite players, a flea flicker last night. We saw Breece Hall screens. Now, the flea flicker didn't work, but try it once a game. He didn't really have enough time to throw there, but try it. Try a reverse. Where is Xavier Gibson? Where is Malachi Corley? Breece had a much better game last night. And you get him involved as a receiver, there is some magic that can happen. Garrett Wilson played pretty well last night. Eight for 107. Lazard 6 for 114. You mix that with now Davante Adams. And Davante clearly wasn't playing like his normal self with the Raiders. He better be the Davante Adams we all know and have loved watching when he was with the Packers. The Jets need number 1 receiver Davante Adams because now you have a 1 and a 1A with him and Garrett Wilson, and you got to salivate for a little bit. When does Breece get tired of not getting work in 10? I don't know what that means. Tylen's chief asset in Thailand. It's Tuesday morning football. Happy Tuesday morning football to you. Jake Brown at Jake Brown Radio. Smash that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe. Jets Flight Club Podcast. Comment. I'm reading your comments. We'll go about 30 minutes, but the question is, can Aaron still deliver to him? I don't think Aaron Rodgers was to blame for last night. I feel just the horrible penalties. The refs really hurt that game. And let's be real about the NFL product this year. It's not been good. This game was the ringleader of the bad product we've watched, but it's been bad. We're seeing more officials than play. We're seeing so many stops of play. It's a nauseating product to watch. I don't know if it's the penalties or the injury or what it is, but the NFL this year, there's been a lot of really bad football. Brees gets no goal line work. They throw out. Listen, the goal line has changed the season for the Jets, how bad it's been. I mean, that penalty, I believe, was on Tyron Smith on the Braylon Allen run. I thought that was a good play call. Braylon Allen as a fullback, Brees Hall as your running back. No hold, and it works to perfection. But my God, can this team, remember against the Denver Broncos at the 1, first and goal from the 1. They had 4 times to get it in, and they did not. 3 penalty, boom, field goal. Also, Greg Zuerlein. I get it. The win was bad last night. But can you make a freaking field goal? The problem is the 4th downs were so long they couldn't even attempt to go for it because it was like 4th and 12. But my God, Greg, the leg is even bad this year. He was automatic for the Jets, gets a contract, and he stinks. But I like the 2 back move. Like Braylon's stronger. Brees is more elusive. Braylon at fullback. I'd like to see that more. It essentially worked without the hold. Like, score when you're in the red zone, for Christ's sake. 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal. They can't do shit. It's unreal how inept this offense continues to be when they're right on the cusp of scoring. They've moved the ball. Aaron's got them down the field, but they cannot finish. And then when they get an opponent's territory, they can't make a freaking field goal. It's utterly disgusting football. It's not like they're not moving the ball, guys. They're moving the ball. They're getting in opponent's range. They just can't finish. God, it's awful. And they're trying these patchwork moves. Woody's trying to save the team, fire Salad, change the play caller, get Davante Adams. What's next? Is Curtis Martin coming out of retirement? Did they forget that they still have no pass rush? Did they forget that Josh Allen abused them on the run, including the final play of the game, to seal this game? Did they forget Hassan Reddick ain't showing up and they're looking to trade him and he never stepped foot on the field? They forget that they need help badly defensively. A defense that was the calling card of this team has not been good. I don't know how many more Band-Aids you can fix. This is the big Band-Aid. The 40-year-old throwing a 32-year-old. Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams. See what'll work. Well, what's next Tuesday on the Jets bingo card, guys? Let us know what's coming next Tuesday. Last Tuesday, it's fire Saleh. This Tuesday, it's trade for Davante. What's next Tuesday? Is Woody Johnson running for president next? Once again, the world will have to watch the Jets. It's Sunday prime time football against the Steelers. I'm not confident the Jets are going to win against the 4-2 Steelers in a rowdy atmosphere in Pittsburgh with a coach that actually has stability. But hey, Davante Adams is in the building. We'll see if he plays. You know, if you're trading for him, he better be ready to freaking play this week. You better have talked to him when you made the trade and say, hey, are you good? Were you faking that hamstring injury? Which I assume he was. Or at least, you know, maybe he wasn't faking it. Maybe he had it, but he was good enough to play, but didn't want to play for O'Donnell and Gardner Minshew and whoever the hell was throwing to him. Yeah, I agree. The Jets should have won that game, Tylen. Like, they should have won that football game, which is why I'm pissed off today. It's going to eat me alive if they miss the playoffs because of that one game and because the Denver game is still pathetic. But, man, 2 missed field goals. The defense did fairly well against a really explosive offense. Remember, they had a lot of injuries. They're a different team without Cook. And, another running back, I think at this point I could play running back and eat the Jets defense alive. Ray Davis, 20 for 97, 3 for 55. He was their leading receiver. He's a great story. They leaned heavy into his story last night. It's a cool story. But my God, first it was Jordan Mason just running all over him. This time it's Ray Davis. And for the most part, they contained Josh on the ground, 9 for 18. But the 2 big ones were his rushing touchdown on a tush push kind of play, and the last play of the game on 3rd down where he runs for the 1st down and completely fools Michael Clemens. This is a defensive line that's weak. This is a defensive line that needs help badly. So as much as they could trade for Davante Adams, they need another player because Hassan Reddick clearly is not showing up. Terrible business decision. He brings in Drew Rosenhaus. Hassan Reddick is just not smart. He is just dumb, period. And this team has quickly become unwatchable. A team that we were heralding as our savior, a team that we've been waiting for so long for. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, look at this Jets team. All right, new coach, boom, let's see his offense. And Davante better be good. He better be freaking good. And this offense better change. Learn the playbook quick. Get right in there, man. They need you right now. But last night's loss was absolutely sickening. And you hope Davante can help. Davante coming off one of his worst seasons. It was really the 2020 to 2022 stretch where Davante was great. 2018 as well. 2018 and 2020 to 2022. 1,386 yards, 1,374, 1,553, 1,560. As a wide receiver in this league, it really only takes you 4-5 good years. Look at Odell Beckham, maybe 3 or 4 good years to have a great career and make money. And that's what Davante's been. This year, he's been hurt. Last year, he wasn't great. He had 1,000 yards, 103 receptions, but wasn't elite Davante. They need elite 2021, 2022 Davante. They really need 2021 Davante because that was the one catching balls from Aaron Rodgers. They need the Davante from 3 years ago. Has he lost his step, though, guys? He'll be 32 years old on Christmas Eve. He's getting up there. Aaron Rodgers will turn 41 years old on December 2nd. In the month of December, you have a 41-year-old quarterback throwing through a 32-year-old wide receiver. Are they over the hill and finished? It was something we worried about coming into the year. I've seen enough out of Rodgers. I don't think he's finished. He's been fine. But, man, this offensive line has been disappointing. The receivers, Mike Williams. We talked about Mike Williams being this ultimate deep threat for Aaron Rodgers. And maybe that was the first deep threat ball, and he slips, and it's intercepted. He's been a deep slip. Like I said, the Taylor ham has outplayed him. The sandwich has played better. And I'm going to go get one right after this. It's just a disgrace. It's a disgrace for the fan base who go out there and will give their hard-earned money to go see this team play, even in that garbage stadium, even in that garbage place. They still go out there. And this is why I almost hate going to games, because every time you leave with a depressed result. The one time you didn't was the home opener, and they teased you. It was a tease because the Patriots suck. They've resulted to their old ways. And not only is it a bad product, but you feel bad for the fans. You feel bad for us. I don't think I could do this show every week with this team being this bad. I just did it for 4 years with my old co-host. That was rough enough with a terrible Jets team. Now the team that was supposed to be our savior is 2-4. Listen, you got the Patriots after the Steelers. That's a winnable game, but you can argue that this is now a must-win in Pittsburgh. I hate to say that word, but if you're 2-5 going to the Pats game, you got the Patriots, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Colts, winnable games. Seahawks, a winnable game. Dolphins now is a winnable game. You got winnable games, but what game is winnable to a team that's lost to Denver, that lost to Buffalo when they had the game in their hands, lost to Minnesota when they could have had the game, nearly lost to a terrible Titans team? I don't know. You got to win. Get to 3-4, beat the Patriots, get to 4-4, and it's a brand new season going into the Halloween Thursday night game against the Texans. But if you're 2-5 and then 3-5 going to the Texans game, that's not an easy game to play the Houston Texans. The Cardinals on the road is not going to be easy. Winnable, but not easy. The Colts will not be easy. The Seahawks will not be easy. The Dolphins, will see who their quarterback is. Maybe Tua is back by then, but in Miami, not easy. I'm not even confident they'll be the Jacksonville Jaguars in December. Rams, Bills, Dolphins. The path is there to get to 10 wins, but I just don't know who they could beat at this point with the way they're playing. There's a rumor Reddick hired the agent to get moved to Detroit, but he's going to get moved. I mean, he ain't showing up. This loser is not showing up. And the Jets are kind of losers for not getting a deal done in advance. You traded for a guy. It's just, what do you even say anymore? This team is garbage. This team sucks. But they tease you because they lose in the weirdest ways possible. It's not like they're getting blown. They got blown out at San Francisco. Otherwise, every game they've been in until their final drive where they find a way to collapse. This time, it's the interception thrown to Mike Williams who slips. If he doesn't slip, that's an easy catch. I know Rodgers underthrew him, but if he doesn't fall, that's an easy catch. The Denver game. Missed field goals galore. Missed field goal to end the game. The Viking game, in the red zone, interception, terrible throw by Rodgers. That's 3 games. Your final drive, you blew it. And obviously everything leading up to that, you blew it. But that one, you blew it. The trade, by the way, according to Schefter, the conditional 3rd-round pick the Jets are trading for Davante Adams becomes a second if any of the following happen. Adams must be first or second team AP All-Pro, and he must be on the active roster for the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. I mean, it's looking like a 3rd-round pick. First off, the only way it becomes a second is if the Jets are AFC Championship or Super Bowl, because Adams not going to be first or second team AP All-Pro. He's barely played this year. He's not been good. So unless he catches 10 balls a game for 100 yards and a touchdown every game the rest of the season, he's not going to be AP All-Pro. Maybe sneaks into the second team if he balls out, but I can't see the first one happening. And then AFC Championship game, that's where we thought they'd be. It's going to take a big turnaround for them to get there. That's where we thought the Jets could be this year. But what we've watched, you'd be alluded. We had to send you a psychiatric home if you think they could still do that. Listen, we've seen crazy things here in New York. The Mets are 3 wins away from the World Series, and they were 11 games under 500 in May. This is essentially June 1st of football. Maybe a little bit later. You're 2-4. You got 11 games remaining. You're about in the equivalent to the baseball season where the Mets were when they were at rock bottom. You have time to turn this season around. You change your coach. You change your play caller. Adams got his best friend. He's got his wide receiver. He's got Garrett. He's got Davante. It's now or never for these guys. He's getting a physical now, by the way, to finalize the trade. Watch him fail the physical. That would be very Jetsian. But now you wonder, do they trade Mike Williams? Mike Williams has been terrible. He's on a 1-year deal. I'd like him to work out, and he's your sneaky number 4. But at this point, he's been a major disappointment. Maybe help someone else because now he's your 4. I mean, Lazard's clearly your 3 because Rodgers loved throwing to Lazard. He's got his 2 buddies. He's got his buddy up in the press box now, who's not calling the plays, and Nathaniel Hackett. But what else can you say about this franchise? He hired Drew Rosen, same guy, Tyree. Yeah, Drew. I mean, Drew Rosenhaus is a big boy. Yeah, I mean, this was a panic move, but listen, it's not going to cost the franchise. It's essentially going to be a 3rd-round pick. It's a no-brainer. If you have the money to pay him and he has an out after this year, maybe you bring him back another year. You rework the contract. You make Rodgers happy. You have one more year. You have a full year with Rodgers and Davante. I think you had to do this move, but I don't think the Jets should be done in the trade market. They need help with the pass rush. They need a pass rusher. They got to go to one of these bad teams like a Carolina, maybe the Patriots, and the Patriots won't do a deal. Cleveland, Jacksonville. They got to get a pass rusher bad. They missed out by not getting Yannick Ngakoue. He's on the Ravens now. They really should have got him, but they need more. You can't be finished yet. Davante Adams is Jet. The game yesterday, an absolute disaster. Just some, awful moments, penalties. I don't even want to talk more about it. Luckily, the New York Mets are 3 wins away, and I'm going to go do the Mets Magic podcast because the Mets bring me joy. They are tied. I'm going to Citi Field tomorrow for Game 3. I'm going to Game 4 and 5. Don't go to the Jet game, guys. Just take a break. Luckily, the next 2 weeks, they're on the road. Maybe they win both and they're 4-4, and then the Halloween game has some juice to it. But they need Davante. They need him now, and they got to fix these things. I thought there were good signs from Todd Downing, some decent play calling, much better than it was with Hackett. So I think Hackett's job is basically done. They showed him on TV. It looked like he was looking at his phone, like he wasn't doing anything up there. Keep him up there. That's where he belongs. He'll still feed his family. He'll still have a check. He'll still have a job. But Downing needs to be the play caller. Hey, the one good thing, the jerseys look great last night. I know Woody Johnson loves to look at the jerseys. But to recap, I'm happy Davante Adams is a Jet. This is a move they had to do. They didn't give up a lot. This is a big move for the franchise. But we have to temper expectations from what we've seen. This team has looked terrible. The coaching change didn't do anything. The same penalties. I think it was the right move. I think this was the right move. They're making the right moves. Unfortunately, the moves they need to make is to win a football game. Can make every move you want, but win games. What a concept. God damn. Starts with Pittsburgh. I'm going to say Davante's healthy and they beat Pittsburgh. Screw it. I said 23-20, by the way, yesterday, and it was 23-20, but Bills. I said Jets. So I had the right score. I say they beat the Steelers and turn the season around. Screw it. But it's probably not going to happen. The Jets are hopeful he can make his debut Sunday night against the Steelers. This thing better work. Get to work. You got a short week. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow, I want to see Davante in practice, ready to go. Let's work. You both salivated. Rodgers, I want him. Adams, I miss him. This shit better work. We don't want the same old garbage all over again. We'll have a post-game show next Monday morning, most likely. We'll see what happens with the Mets. Mets is priority right now, guys. They're about to potentially be in the World Series. It's Mets priority. The Jets are a laughing stock right now. It's a joke that they're 2-4. Could very well be 5-1. Should at the very least be 4-2. It's just unbelievable how we're seeing the same old stuff from this franchise. But Davante's a Jet. Jet Steelers Sunday. We'll see you after the game. Thanks for watching the Sick Podcast. Jets Flight Club. Smash that thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share with your Jets fan friends. Jake Brown Radio on all social media. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope this freaking trade works. See you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Jets Fight Club on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.